A lot of you guys have been asking me how to get a good, beautiful saxophone sound and expressing your frustration with the process of doing so. I asked you guys for questions and you really delivered. Lots of the questions I'm going to answer in this video were things that were asked by multiple people. You're going to get a lot of value from watching this video. Now, when it comes to sound on the saxophone, you have to keep in mind there is no shortcut. Are you playing every day? Are you putting the time in? Ask yourself, be honest. Practice every day for a month, and you will see your sound improve. Practice every day for a year, and your sound is definitely going to improve. Practice every day for 10 years, and you're gonna have a beautiful sound. Now, I know what you're saying. Yeah, great, practice every day. Thanks a lot, dude. How about some specifics? Okay, here are specific things that every single saxophone player can do to improve. Number one, play every day. You gotta play every day because we gotta build up the muscles in our embouchure. Stop biting. Just about everybody at every level is putting too much pressure on the reed from time to time, most of the time. You gotta build up the strength so that you can have a nice, relaxed embouchure and stop biting. This is gonna solve the majority of the problems people ask me questions about, like playing in tune, sound quality, getting into the altissimo range, playing the overtones, playing the low notes. Use softer reeds. There's a myth that you need to somehow keep getting harder and harder reeds as you get better on the saxophone. No, use soft reeds. It makes things easier. Let the air do the work. Your embouchure shouldn't be working so hard, biting. Let the air do the work of producing the sound, not your mouth. Listen to great saxophone players in whatever style you like and play along with them, trying to match their sound. And once you're doing all these things, practice long tones. Long tones allow us to really just focus on the sound, playing one note at a time. When it comes to sound, you got to be patient and think long term. The last thing on the list, and this is the least important, is you might need to upgrade your mouthpiece if it's necessary. Like you got the student mouthpiece that came with the saxophone and it's all busted. Yeah, you could upgrade that and that's going to help. I'm not saying someone who already has a $200 mouthpiece needs to upgrade to an $800 mouthpiece. That's not what I'm saying. You might have a mouthpiece that's designed to get you a sound that's not the sound you're looking for. So this is the last thing. But yeah, upgrading your mouthpiece can help your sound. Okay. I get the impression that a lot of people have these unrealistic expectations when it comes to learning the saxophone. It's not like learning to ski or play tennis or golf. It's not something where you take a lesson and an hour later you're out doing that thing and enjoying it. This is a discipline that requires a lot more input to get an output you're going to be satisfied with. Hard things are a lot more satisfying when you get good at them than easy things are. And if you're wondering why I'm in the woods recording this video, it's because my studio is undergoing some renovations. I can't use it to film the videos or edit them or practice all the things I normally do. For everyone who sent me the question, what do I do if I want to practice but I can't make a lot of noise at home? You can go in the woods. I used to practice the saxophone in the woods, in parks. Sonny Rollins used to practice his saxophone on the Williamsburg Bridge. You can always find a place to practice if you really want to. It's a question of commitment more than convenience. Now, a lot of people who submitted questions mentioned how helpful the BetterSax courses have been in their development as saxophone players. This kind of goes without saying, but I want to mention it here. The very best way I can help you get better is through the courses we've created. You can find them on BetterSax.com. They've been meticulously put together with the idea of optimizing the process and making it as painless and enjoyable as possible. I got a lot of questions about how to find a good teacher versus studying the saxophone online. Everyone needs a teacher. If you can find a local one-on-one saxophone teacher, do it. Everyone also needs multiple perspectives. So over the course of your journey, you're going to want to study with multiple teachers, as well as taking advantage of all the great online learning resources you've got available. Seek out different perspectives. There are multiple ways to solve the same problem. You're going to get different solutions from different teachers, from different sources. You want to get all of that information and put it together to find what works best for you. There was also multiple questions about transitioning from classical saxophone over to jazz saxophone. Here's my tips for you guys. First, you need to start listening to jazz. You got to get that sound in your ear. Very important. Find some good saxophone players in the jazz genre you like and listen to them nonstop. The jazz embouchure is more relaxed. It's less strict than the classical embouchure, so you can go ahead and loosen up, relax here. Also, think about getting some softer reeds. Classical saxophonists generally use a lot of vibrato that is like always on, so first thing you could do is stop playing with vibrato entirely, just to get out of the habit of always playing with this classical vibrato. Later on, you start reintroducing the vibrato. In jazz, we use vibrato, but it's sometimes there, sometimes it's not there. And the way you use it is gonna be based on the saxophonists you're listening to and want to emulate. Last thing is you may want to get a jazz mouthpiece, something that's more suited towards the sound you're looking for. You can sound jazzy on a classical mouthpiece, no problem, but there's going to be some limitations there. I also got a bunch of questions about playing jazz and improvising over chord changes. So here's my answers for all of you guys. You have to first learn your music theory, your scales, your major and minor triads, your seventh chords. You got to be able to play all that stuff in all 12 keys and be able to know like what is the third of A flat major. You just need to know that stuff instantly. It takes a certain amount of study. I've got a free resource in the BetterSax shed, link in the description, which is like a cheat sheet for jazz music theory. Download that for free. That just gets you started. Like, this is all the stuff you need to know. If you want to really study that stuff, take a course. The Harmonic Foundation course that we have at BetterSax.com is all the jazz theory you need to know. It's like what you'd learn if you went to university, but you could just learn it at home. Once you have all your music theory down and you could kind of play a lot of that stuff on your instrument, you want to start transcribing and analyzing so you can connect the music theory, the notes, with the music. Don't do whole solos at first. Just do one chorus of a solo you really like at a time. Just do 4 or 8 bars of a solo you really like and try to understand what is happening musically, why the musician is playing these different notes, the different lines, how it all fits together. This process is long. It takes years. You just need to start and just chip away at it month after month, week after week, year after year. Keep in mind that we cannot learn jazz and improvisation using the same approach we use for classical music, which is mainly reading sheet music in books, right? Listening and transcribing are integral parts of the process. If you don't do both of those things a lot, you're not going to progress. Now, I got a ton of gear questions, as I always do. If you had a gear question, I want you to go watch this video next, where I debunk all of the persistent myths about saxophone gear. Every single one of the myths in this video, I got questions about again.